Alright, according to Cortana, there's a security override switch we need.
I'd just like to say, Chief, that I thank you for forgiving me and letting me come.
Jenkins, shut up! It wasn't even my fucking idea to bring you along. Keys basically threw you at me, and all I'm doing is following these god-awful orders. We really should be focusing on the mission, sir. Agreed. I'm thankful you're here, Hank. At least someone here has a brain. Just ignore the cretin riding shotgun and we'll all be...
Hey! I'm not Croatian.
Cretin doesn't even sound like Croatian, you dolt!
Chief, why does Hunk get to use the turret?
Are you kidding me? It's Hank, you idiot! Do you really expect me to trust you with such a high-powered weapon after what you did to me in our alpha base? Sir, can we please just go? Fine, let's move. Oh, you've gotta be... Why are these things everywhere? Sir, we can just move around them. I know. It's just these things trigger me after that incident. As long as we don't touch the waffles, they won't attack us. The hell is that sound? I don't really know. Jenkins! How and why did you get that waffle? Where did you even get syrup?
Syrup on waffle. Mine now. That's the rule.
Jenkins? Oh my god! Remember last time? Just get rid of the waffle! Throw that shit out! Do it! Jenkins! If the original Combat Evolved campaign excels at anything, player choice is definitely up there as one of its most important and genre-defining accomplishments. With access to a highly balanced and easily accessible content sandbox, as well as large, expansive levels with multiple routes towards mission completion, the players are able to choose exactly how they want to go about completing each level. While the weapon and vehicle variety itself in the original campaign isn't anywhere near as big as the more contemporary Halo titles of today's generation, Combat Evolved managed to still deliver a nearly free-form campaign experience thanks to its superb level design, despite its occasional repetitiveness here and there. If there are two missions that hammer down on the concept of player choice the most, they are the Silent Cartographer and the Assault on the Control Room. The Silent Cartographer has the Master Chief Cortana find the map room that will lead to the UNSC forces to Halo's control center. What makes this level special is that there are two ways you can complete the mission. You can immediately charge forward to the Cartographer, but you'll be shut out by the Covenant forces that have locked the entrance to the map room. You're then forced to find a security override switch that will unlock the door to grant you access to the Cartographer. However, at the beginning of the mission, you could also turn the other direction and head towards a security override switch immediately without having to waste time at the map room entrance as it gets locked down. Cortana will even let Chief know that the security override switch isn't the Cartographer, letting the player know that he or she didn't break the game or anything and is following the rules. The Assault on the Control Room takes a different approach to player choice. This level is the true definition of a sandbox. Almost every usable weapon and vehicle in the entire game can be acquired on this mission, with the shotgun being the only weapon missing. Even with the limited amount of weapon and vehicle variety in the original game, it's enough to, when combined with the level's multiple pathways to the given play spaces, present the player with nearly infinite different ways to complete the Assault on the Control Room mission. Fast forward nearly 15 years, and CMT's SPV3 takes the concept of Combat Evolved's player choice and turns it up to 11. With vast amounts of new content and play spaces entering the fray, Halo 1's campaign has become exponentially enhanced while still keeping true to its original and iconic feel. The two missions in question, the Silent Cartographer and Assault on the Control Room, have been revamped in their own ways. I'm the Vengeful Vatum, and for the final installment of this extensive overview of CMT's SPV3, we will dive into the latter half of the single-player campaign. Make sure to view the first 3 parts of this series to fully understand what is being said here. When you're done, return to this video. The developers of SPV3 recognize the fact that the Silent Cartographer stands the test of time as one of the greatest missions in the entire Halo series, so there are no level extensions to be found here. But like the Truth and Reconciliation, there doesn't need to be. There's enough content in this mission to help differentiate it from its original version. Once again, you have access to 5 loadouts at the start of the mission. You'll notice that 3 out of the 5 loadouts have new weapons entirely. The Grenadier and Saboteur loadouts have grenade launcher variants of the Assault Rifle and Battle Rifle respectively, while the Demolitions loadout introduces the rocket launcher and shotgun. The shotgun in particular shows up 2 levels earlier than it did in the original campaign. When I think of memorable moments from all the Halo campaigns, the beach assault at the beginning of the mission immediately comes to mind. Originally, the player only went in with the assault rifle and a pistol, but in SPV3, the 5 loadouts allow for various playstyles to shine here. My personal favorite is the battle rifle grenade loadout, since it's among my favorite weapons to use in the mod. If you run behind the structure towards the right, you'll notice the parked ghost that you can use to wipe out any remaining Covenant forces. Once the enemies have been destroyed, the Pelican that is expected to drop off the Warthog will not only drop the Hog, but also a Gun Goose. Before, only the Warthog was a vehicular option for this mission, but that number has tripled in SPV3's rendition of this level. If I were to choose any of the 3 vehicles to go in with, it'd be the Gun Goose for sure. While it's the frailest out of the 3, the immense firepower it possesses is way too good to pass up. However, any of the 3 vehicles are decent options. Immediately following the Beast Assault, 2 enemy ghosts have been added to the next encounter to act as a distraction for the infantry. Tanky brutes and ranger jackals along with the ghosts make this encounter trickier in more ways than one. Brutes also appear in many other encounters throughout the mission, and their presence changes the way you'll have to go about clearing out the areas they appear in. All 3 of the hunter variants in this mod make an appearance in all the places the original hunters spawned in on this mission. Some of the more notable changes include the Goss Warthog that has flipped over at the entrance to the interior of the island, as well as enemy banshees that swarm the Pelican crash site and the entrance to the map room after you have shut down the security override. The banshee's appearance on this level is significant because it was actually originally planned to show up on the level, as seen from the old GameStock 2001 footage of the original Combat Evolved. Lastly, there are the inclusion of the elite honor guards that patrol the map room floors. It makes sense for these to appear here due to how highly valuable the cartographer actually is. The Covenant forces want to send the best of the best to make sure that the chief doesn't get the location of the control center. While there sadly weren't any extensions to the Silent Cartographer, there was a very good reason for that. A brand new iteration of the iconic Silent Cartographer mission makes its debut in SPV3. Every encounter and every piece of map geometry featured in this level has never been seen before in the Halo series, meaning that players now have to develop completely new strategies to ultimately secure the map room. While every play space here is brand new, the spirit of the original Silent Cartographer mission still lives on in the evolved version. This level is absolutely gorgeous and, in my opinion, has a much better artistic direction than Halo Anniversary's rendition of the Silent Cartographer. Now, I won't be going over literally every encounter there is, and I'd rather keep the video length at a decent size, but I'll go over the more significant segments of the level and what makes them special. Instead of dropping off a chain gun Warthog, the Pelican gives the player a rocket Warthog, along with the Gun Goose as 2 options for continuing the level with. Moving towards the interior of the island was a nice experience for me because it reminded me of Halo 3's The Covenant mission, where you move through a forest heading towards the first tower. The beauty of the evolved version of the Silent Cartographer is how faithful it is to the original. As you can see in this newly done encounter that features the building with the map room entrance, it still feels like a level that could have been featured in the 2001 version of Halo Combat Evolved. Despite there being entirely new geometry, it still retains the classic essence of the Silent Cartographer. The mission in general is also much longer than the standard version, with more encounters and sections of the map than ever before. Even the objectives of the level have been altered in various ways. Accessing the room with the security override switch is a much more complicated procedure. The path to said switch is much longer, with elevators and more open spaces packed with Covenant in your way. Speaking of which, the security override is no longer solely guarded by 2 hunters. The hunters themselves have an armed escort waiting for you when they descend from the elevator they came from. The AI here are admittedly not very smart. The enemy units on the shielded platform above you will attempt to shoot you through the one-way shield, to the point where they'll even kill themselves after a while. To be fair, there weren't very many, if at all, shield doors in the original game, and the AI just aren't used to the new type of building piece. There's a certain beauty the lighting brings to this part of the level that makes me feel like this is a mysterious place with a plethora of unexplained history and detail, something the newer Halo games have failed to bring forth in their missions. Going to the final elevator will bring you to the security override. Shutting the system down will not only open the locked door that leads to the map room, but also activates a bridge that acts as a shortcut back to the first building with the map room entrance. On the end of this bridge is Bravo 22's crash site, with a rocket launcher as well as Marine survivors, a Gun Goose, and a rocket Warthog for use. Soon after is our first run-in with the Covenant Shadow. These medium-sized vehicles can be annoying to face from a distance, especially if the Marines miss with their rockets, which they do a lot. I wouldn't advise using one of these over the rocket Warthog or even the Gun Goose, because not only is the firepower way weaker than the other 2, but it's also the slowest out of the 3. I mentioned in part 2 of this series how this was meant to be used at a distance, and that still holds true when using the Shadow on this level, so if you plan to use one, have the Marines pick off enemies from far away and don't barrel through them. You'll eventually return to the entrance to the map room and make your way inside, and this is where the fun truly begins. You'll activate a light bridge and cross through a dark and spoopy hallway that leads to an elevator. This will take you all the way down to the catacombs of the island, which will just so happen to be underwater. The overall artistic theme is reminiscent of the Delta Halo mission of Halo 2, where you also explore various underwater facilities, especially when you run into the honor guards. The verticality of some of these encounters can be daunting to face, especially when Ranger Jackals paired with honor guards attack you from multiple angles. The interiors have plenty of twists and turns to explore, which is great because it can potentially lead to much needed supplies. Exploration in general is one of my favorite things to do in Halo campaigns, and I'm glad that the CMT devs made their interior locations feel not so linear and open. With an ominous tone shift, you'll finally walk down a hallway ending with a killer looking door and make it into the new map room. You thought that all you needed to do was just flip a simple switch to reveal the location of the control center, but you're wrong. There's more to it than that now. You'll have to power up the Cartographer by activating 3 generators that are heavily guarded by honor guards, hunters, and many other Covenant units. Hopefully, you conserved your rocket launcher ammo and have a headshot weapon at the ready, because you're going to need to give it your all for the fate of the universe. The key to success here is patience. I recommend taking out the Ranger units so that engaging the close to mid-range targets won't be as tricky. If you eventually run out of rocket ammo, which you should be using only versus the hunters, the best thing to do is just to pick up their fallen hunter cannons to replace your rocket. With each generator activation, the Cartographer will slowly start to power up, and you'll begin to see it transform right before you. But know that more enemies, especially hunters, will spawn in with each generator that you flip the switch for. Once you activate all 3 generators, you'll then flip the final switch that will reveal the location to the control center for the UNSC. This was definitely more difficult and more engaging than the original rendition, and I applaud CMT for their fantastic work on this encounter. You'll finally have to escape the catacombs on the island and make your way back to the surface for pickup. It's possible to get lost in this unfamiliar terrain, but the best advice I can give you is to just keep going up, and when you see the long room with the windows overlooking the water, you're going the right way. Taking the elevator back up and fighting off the remaining cloaked forces will bring you to the end of this mission. As mentioned before, the assault on the control room is one big sandbox filled with the most amount of weapons and vehicle content in the entire game, and that holds true with SPV3's rendition to this level. The overall mission plays exactly as intended with minor changes here and there, so again, I won't be doing a complete rundown of the entire level, but rather draw attention to the major changes that take place in the familiar play spaces. Once again, you'll have access to 5 loadouts. While there are no new weapons here in these, each loadout caters to multiple playstyles. Want to be completely stealthy, go all out on the offensive, or even a mix of the two? The choice is yours. Once you make it down to Fireteam Zulu, you'll notice to the right a Banshee that has an elite charging for it. If you're capable of killing the elite before it can get to the Banshee, it's yours for the taking. Shortly after, the mighty Grizzly tank makes its debut to SPV3, and it just decimates everything that moves. Admittedly, it has poor accuracy at a distance, but in my opinion, it sort of makes it feel authentic when comparing this to the original Scorpion. The same strategies we use when using the Scorpion can be applied here, but you'll have twice as much fun with twin tank cannons and twin coastal machine guns. Other than that, the mission itself is pretty much straightforward, and nothing else has really changed besides the usual sandbox changes. Or so you may think. After killing the 2 hunters guarding the entrance to the canyon containing the control center shrine, instead of immediately heading to the canyon, you'll instead take an elevator downwards. Going down the hallway will lead you to a new extended portion of this mission. Kicking things off, this new room has a brute squad guarding the corpses of fellow Marines. Taking them out and advancing onward will then lead you to a huge underground cavern. This was something I did not expect to see on my first run through of the level. It reminds me of a combination of the Quarantine Zone campaign mission from Halo 2 and the Waterworks map from the same game. Moving to the right side after entering the new area is a parked ghost that will aid you in taking out the initial Covenant threats, but you'll eventually want to move towards a crashed Pelican with another Grizzly tank staying next to it. I don't know why there's a crashed Pelican inside a cavern that's underground, but we'll just let it slide. Take this and, very carefully, make your way over the light bridges. Make sure you drive in a straight line, or else you'll be like me and fall off the ledge. A few blockades will be between you and the exit of the underground caverns, but the Grizzly is more than capable enough to handle these small fry, especially from a distance. This next and final part of the extended section of this mission is what I truly envision when I think of the phrase, assault on the control room. A squad of valiant Marines and the mighty Grizzly tank fighting an uphill battle to regain control of the gun pointed at the head of the universe. This is pure bliss. I thoroughly enjoyed traversing through such an epic, high-octane Halo battlefield such as this one. Several infantry units, shadows, shade turrets, and wraiths of both kinds form a phalanx to stop you and your Marine comrades from going any further, but with sheer determination, the UNSC will always come out on top. Finally, the control center is in sight. I love how this was integrated with the extended section of this mission. Before, you either had to go through another indoor section, or quickly steal a Banshee to skip several encounters, which will leave the entrance to the control center oddly unguarded from the outside. This way, The player is guaranteed to see a resistance station directly on each floor of the structure, which makes way more sense due to how crucial this location is for both sides. After this, the mission goes on as normal, and you finally complete the first half of Halo SPV3. I would like to say thank you for joining me on this incredible journey, to say thank you for over 70 subscribers at the time this video gets uploaded, and all of the support everyone has been voluntarily bestowing upon me. I will continue to try my hardest to put out the best content I can possibly produce. I also have a new Facebook page created so I can update everyone on when my next videos are coming out, and it'll give me an opportunity to interact with the fans, so make sure to follow me there by liking the page. If, and only if, you enjoyed what you see, hit the like button and subscribe to me for more Halo content. This is the Vengeful Vadim, and I'll see you on the great journey.